Jesus fully reveals himself to me, full body form, and he speaks to me. And it's like because he operates outside of time and space, it felt like it was in eternity. And the words echoed like through the echo chambers of the universe. And they were like thunder. And the three words were, if so, when? And I knew it was Jesus. And he didn't have to tell me it was Jesus, but I knew it was Jesus. And I woke up in the morning from it. And first thing I thought when I got up was, this sucks. Now I have to be a Christian.
Hey, welcome back to the Jesus Magnet. I'm your host, Joel, and today we have Gabe on the show. Gabe lives in Thailand. He lives about 3 hours north of Chiang Mai in a little town called Bai, also known as Pai. How you doing, Gabe?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on the show, and I would love for you to just share in a nutshell what you do here in Bai.
Cool. Well, my wife and I, we run a small little Muay Thai and fitness gym. And besides that, just busy with 2 kids and just doing a lot of work for the Lord up here too. So running a small little growing home church and man's group Bible study, discipling some boys, and just, being obedient to the Lord.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, how did you, a half Australian, half American, manage to find your way all the way to Thailand? Let's rewind a little bit and hear a bit of your backstory. Did you grow up in a Christian home? How did you get to this point of Jesus Christ? So let's wind all the way back. Give us a bit of an idea on who you were BC, before Christ.
Cool. Oh, man, how much time you got? I grew up with a strong Christian mom. So I definitely had a lot of a praying mother, a lot of prayers prayed over me and throughout my life. And as far as coming to Thailand goes, it was sort of just a destiny through martial arts that brought me here. And when I moved to Australia in my early 20s from the States, because I'm a dual citizen, right? I moved in my early 20s. I actually landed at a gym that was run by a Thai, and he was from Surin, and he sent me out for my first trip for a fight camp.
Right.
And that sort of sparked a love affair with Thailand.
So you had this incredible Christian mother, and I'm guessing that your father wasn't really walking with the Lord?
Yeah, and I mean, he grew up Italian Roman Catholic, but he walked away from that quite young. And he definitely lived by a lot of great old school morals and principles, but definitely was probably just like me, getting dragged to church on Christmas Day at the most.
Yeah, I see. And so your mum, who was kind of that Christian icon in your household, did that establish a bit of a faith in your life, or was it more like it was your mum's faith that was in the house, and sometimes you went to church, sometimes you didn't? But where were you when it came to the faith that you personally carried?
Yeah, I definitely didn't grow up in the church at all. I went to church just far and few between. So I
major stuff, Christmas.
Exactly. Yeah. Easter, Christmas, the random time in between, maybe honestly like a handful of times in between, just like the quintessential holidays.
Was your mum going to church quite regularly?
Every Sunday, yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's interesting that you say that. Have you heard the stats on different family members that go to church?
I just have heard that when the male, the husband, becomes a believer, it's very high likelihood that the family follows suit.
They've got stats on it. It's incredible. It's basically if a child gets saved and decides to go to church every Sunday, there's a 3% chance that the rest of the family will follow. If the mother gets saved and starts going to church, there's about a 20% chance that the rest of the family will follow suit.
Okay.
And if the father gets saved and starts going to church, it's like a 95% chance the rest of the family will follow.
Wow. Hey,
so it's incredibly,
that is incredible.
Yeah. There's a lot of weight and responsibility on males and fathers and husbands if they do become saved to recognize the influence that they have over the entire family. And that's flipped as well. If just the father decides to get into drinking or casinos or whatever it is, there's a high chance that the rest will be seriously influenced by that.
Right.
So it's important for us to realize that. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely it's a weight, it's a weight to carry as a man in the house, that's for sure.
It's a cross to carry.
It is.
That's right.
Yeah, no lies.
So you ended up not really, you wouldn't say you were a believer, but you were aware of the Christian faith. Is that kind of where you sit?
I mean, in reality, when I look back, I have no idea who Jesus was. I think through arrogance, because you grow up in the West and you grow up in the States, you sort of think you have an understanding about what the Christian faith is, but I had no idea, genuinely, no idea, really.
Yeah.
You just think because of the familiarity of it.
What was your idea? Did you think it was around a guy called Jesus?
Yeah.
And kind of what was your understanding on Jesus? And I'm curious on this because I came from someone that did go to church their whole life. All of my family was, very incredible with their faith, and held me to a high standard of making sure that I was committed to going to church and things like that. So I remember having this conversation with one of my friends that is not a Christian, and she said she didn't even know what the concept of sin was, and from someone that always went to church, that seems like a normal jargon to be aware of, but to realize that sin is not something that is frequent. It's not a frequent vocabulary in most people's words,
Fully. I mean, I didn't know that I was living a completely sinful life.
Yeah.
I just thought that my life, the dysfunction was so normalized for most of my life that I just thought that was life.
So was Jesus like a historical figure in your mind?
I mean,
more than anything?
I definitely never was like, Jesus isn't real.
Yeah.
But just had no understanding. Nobody had bless my mom's heart. Yeah. But I don't recall anybody in my life ever sharing the gospel message with me. Never.
Wow. Do you think that would have had an impact for you, the message of the gospel in those early days? Because sometimes we can be quite clouded. Like a huge amount of influences around us that are saying, all these different things when it comes to what we should and shouldn't believe. And even if somebody does present the gospel to us, especially if it's your mum, your mum could tell you the best advice on the planet, but because it's your mum, you don't listen.
And genuinely, that's probably what I would have done. I mean, she don't get me wrong. She tried to get us to come to church. So it's not like she didn't try.
Well, hats off to your mom. What's her name?
Maureen.
Yeah, well
she was amazing. But I just definitely was a hard-headed, stubborn dude.
Yeah.
And it's not that I was an atheist at all. I just never knew it was Jesus.
Yeah.
I searched every single direction you can imagine, and I went really far.
I want to ask about that.
Yeah.
So you went into all different religions, and you were genuinely seeking?
Genuinely. I've been a truth seeker since I was 13.
Yeah.
And I encountered Jesus, met me when I was 40.
Yeah.
So 27 years.
It was a little while.
Of going here and there and in between.
Now, why was the Christian faith not one of the first places that you sought for truth? Was it just because of the familiarity of your mum going there that you went, I'll just check out everything else first?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'm not really necessarily sure if I ever pushed away on purpose the faith. It's just when I started seeking for some form of a spiritual life, I just went opposite directions naturally from my environment. It wasn't that I chose to push Christianity away. It's just I gravitated elsewhere early, and that sort of sent me down, a whole different route.
Do you think that is quite common in kind of Christian households or semi-Christian households? I would categorize you as that. I think everyone at some point decides something's going on. I need to search. I need to find what's going on in this universe. Why am I here?
Yeah.
People ask that question all the time.
Yeah.
But do you think that there's almost if you didn't have Christian parents, you might have gone towards Christianity earlier?
That's an interesting question. Yeah, maybe. For me, I grew up in the West Coast, and there was just like a lot of sort of new age and, just far out there ideals that I grew up around.
Yeah.
And so like my first real, and I took it seriously, but my first real searching was through Rastafarianism.
Can you explain that?
So, I just as a young kid, I got real heavy into smoking weed, but also was genuinely searching. And I fully because I grew up in the Caribbean, actually. I grew up in St. Croix as a young boy in the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Wow.
And so I think that naturally I kind of gravitated towards like the Caribbean culture. I think from like 2 years old to 6 years old, that's where I grew up. And then we moved to Oregon.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like it's just, I can't tell you specifically why, but just with that lifestyle of kind of just being like a weed smoker and a truth seeker.
Yeah.
Led me immediately into a real serious pursuit, not just like I'm getting high, but like reading the Old Testament and drumming on top of the mountains with the Nyabingi drum and fully searching and professing Jah Rastafari as being God.
Wow.
Yeah. So
what is it you felt as somebody that was seeking some sort of truth? Like, did you actually feel like you're missing something? Like you were empty?
Always. I mean, from a young boy, what you said, I mean, I've been trying to figure out the why are we here and what's the purpose of life since a young boy.
There's the question.
Yeah.
Right?
It was
Which
just deep inside me, deep rooted in me.
But there's the feeling that's orientated with that. Like, did you actually feel like something was a piece of you's missing?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, yes. Looking back, yes. Sorry for that.
I don't know if the listeners can hear that.
Yeah, got a sliding door going.
A sliding garage door. I don't think that they can. I'll cut that.
Yeah, no worries.
Man, interesting. Okay, so you definitely did feel a God-shaped hole.
Yeah, for sure. Looking back.
Yeah. What else did you end up? Where did that searching take you? Because we're here in Thailand right now, and we're like 98% or something crazy high percent Buddhists,
right?
In this culture, and to be Thai is to be Buddhist.
It fully
there's temples everywhere.
It fully is.
There's spirit houses everywhere. Was that an avenue you went down as well? Buddhism.
Definitely. Yeah. I just kind of did, I just did all of that, anything but Christianity. Be here now.
What was all it that you were looking for? Like, because all the different religions offer something, you know? What was it that you were seeking? Or was it literally undeniable proof of what you're supposed to be here for? Because sometimes, even a lot of religions don't actually have that answer of why you're here. Even go to like Greek mythology. If you go through Greek mythology, we're here because of an accident, because of these titans and gods fought a war and the blood fell onto the ground, and from the ground, the first humans arose.
Wow.
A total accident.
Yeah.
And in other words, we have no purpose.
Right.
We may as well be the mold on the bottom of your shoe. from a cosmic perspective, a
Right.
total accident. Were you looking for truth in the sense of that's the truth, or are you looking for purpose? You matter.
Yeah, I think I was looking for truth.
And it didn't matter if we were an accident, because that's where atheists stand as well. We're here by cosmic car crashes.
Yeah.
Basically, where planets have just collided, and somehow that's formed the first life.
Yeah, I think it was definitely just the identity that I put on very early was the identity of a truth seeker. And I wore that proudly.
Yeah.
Like a rebel truth seeker.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people are seeking for truth. And if they get to a point, like you get a lot of atheists and you get even Buddhist people I've met, this is the truth that they stand in. But the truth that they stand in and they believe to believe holds no purpose. There's no purpose associated to it. It's I live and I die.
Yeah.
And therefore I live empty because there's nothing to fill.
And that definitely happened to me along the way so many times, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a constant emptiness.
Man.
Which is sad looking back, yeah?
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what your rough lifestyle was. Were you somebody that, went towards the fulfilling of purpose and need, which can be drugs, alcohol, sex, drugs, rock and roll? That can be something that people pursue to pursue purpose. Sometimes people pursue career paths.
Right.
And that brings them purpose. Or was your entire purpose gravitated towards figuring out truth?
It was the first part.
Drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
A lot of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was that something that you felt never actually satisfied?
No way.
It was all temporary.
All temporarily. And that just led me down a path of making a lot of bad choices at an early age, which just kind of sent me on a trajectory that was pretty wild.
Yeah. How did you find that over those years of doing that, basically living in a void, an endless void that continually eats and is never satisfied? Did you find that got larger and larger the longer that you sat there?
Amen, it did.
Yeah, it's like holding your breath. It gets harder and harder and harder.
Life was hard for a long time, bro.
Yeah. And hard in the sense of like spiritually hard, not necessarily physically hard. Is that right? Or was it also physically quite difficult?
Yeah, it got bad, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What was hard?
I just made a lot of bad choices early. And so then you have to live with those choices, some choices that you can't just sort of easily navigate out of. Like I dropped out of high school when I was 15. I was a teenage runaway, ran away from home, got big into drug dealing. A lot of my friends are dead now. A lot of the path that everybody went down was just rough. And that lasted for a long time. Ended up going to jail. And just, it was my dual citizenship to Australia. That was actually sort of the only thing I think in hindsight that saved me was because I had this last ticket of trying because I just couldn't get out of that hole.
So you moving to Australia was an out of an escape from the environment that you were in?
Yeah, I definitely think that passport, that dual citizenship really helped change my life around a lot.
Wow. Man. So what did you do when you got to Australia? What was different?
Well, just the environment, the getting away from all the addictions, my friends, the lifestyle that I was stuck in. Just that a new fresh start, the Aussie culture, you know what I mean? And it brought me back to my original roots of being like a sport boy. And that's when I chased the dream again of martial arts, and I became a personal trainer and got a career going and started helping people and serving people. And for the first time ever, I realized in doing this, I'm healing through service. Service was my way of starting to actually heal like all the trauma that I had.
Wow. Your martial arts background, that martial arts often have a link to a lot of different spiritual things, right?
Oh yeah.
Same as yoga, you know,
Right.
you're bowing in certain poses, that saluting different gods or demons or whatever you want to call
Absolutely.
them. So how did you, I mean, was that something you were aware of when you're doing martial arts? Was like
Not at all.
not at all, it was just literally fighting. It was training.
Yeah. I mean, I think I really liked the discipline aspect, the regimented lifestyle.
Yeah.
And
you probably did because of the craziness that you were experiencing in undisciplinary
for sure
lifestyle back in the States.
For sure. I mean, I've always been like a extreme dude. So whenever I set my mind to something, I'm all in.
Yeah.
When I'm all in for something that's good, I'm all in. And obviously when I'm all in for something that was destructive, I was really good at that as well.
Yeah. And God does use that. The Apostle Paul in the Bible was exactly that.
Yeah.
Before he was saved, he was slaughtering Christians.
Fully.
And then afterwards, he's getting slaughtered for being a Christian.
Absolutely.
In fact, he even mentions that he's been shipwrecked, he's been stoned, he's been, you know, all these different things that have happened to him. And if you go through some of them, the stoning one, for example, is actually a form of execution. It's not just people were throwing rocks at him. That being stoned, that language, is like saying I've been crucified,
right?
Or I've been in the electric chair.
Right.
It's a form of execution that actually suggests that the Apostle Paul may have been continually resurrected for Christ and was continually put to death. So he put Christians to death many, many times, and he ended up getting put to death potentially many, many times.
Wow.
And it's just the beautiful shift in him doing, like, putting people to death, obviously, but then of him submitting to death, trusting Jesus, and being resurrected many times.
For sure.
I mean, that's just it's a theory. I'll just point that out there for our listeners. This is not 100%, but there is good evidence for it, which is an interesting one to think about.
Real interesting. Shout out to Paul.
Yeah.
I love Paul.
So how did you go from Aussie to Thailand?
It was Muay Thai.
Yeah?
Yeah. So the first trip I came out, just did a fight camp, fought out here. And then that just sparked that love affair for Thailand.
Yeah. How do you not have like a broken face?
People say that, yeah.
And all your teeth.
Yeah, I've had shattered like my orbital bone and had some pretty rough injuries, lots of concussions, but managed to sort of come.
Keep your nose straight.
Yeah, the nose. Yeah, that's what everyone always says, yeah.
Do you know, what's his name? Carnage?
Yeah, I mean, I know of him. He was in a different part of Australia than I was, but yeah, he's a legend. And I've seen him, that he's come to faith recently too.
He has.
And I seen he was on this podcast. Shout out to Nathan Carnage Corbett. He's a legend in the sport.
He really is.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's got a wonky nose.
Yeah.
But he is a machine. He'd be terrifying. You're terrifying to fight, but man, he would be. Yeah.
He's a heavyweight. He's a big boy, and he's a monster, man.
Yeah, Nathan's
He
awesome.
was very inspirational. One of the best from Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
And great to see him that he's come to faith.
Oh yeah, he's such a legend.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully get him on a couple of times.
Cool.
But yeah. So your martial arts and how you delved into almost like a warfare, I suppose. What would you say that you, after, let's just fast forward to now that you are a Christian, do you find that the martial arts side is like there's like a spiritual warfare to it. In New Zealand, we have the haka,
right,
where it's like a war dance that
For
New
sure.
Zealanders do. There was an Australian reporter that once tried to get the haka banned, and the reason that he did was because he said that New Zealanders, like we've been the best in the world for rugby many times, and he would say that the haka is an unfair advantage that Kiwis have.
Wow.
Because there's something about it that after doing this war dance, that these rugby players are full of adrenaline, and it creates an unfair advantage. I think there's a spiritual aspect to that as well. Do you find now that you are doing martial art and there's like a spiritual almost warfare and a battle in the unseen that happens before a fight?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely.
Yeah?
And yeah, if you've ever seen the haka live, it is powerful, man.
Yeah.
It's intense.
It is. I've done the haka.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
I can attribute to that. It changes you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but definitely, there's definitely, I mean, definitely a spiritual battle with martial arts, of course, a lot. It all starts in the mind, realistically, mind, body, and spirit. Yeah, always. And with Muay Thai, with the white crew, you know, and all that, the ramui, the dance you do before, it's similar in a way.
It is. Yeah. And
maybe not as intense. It's more based upon beauty. Yeah. But it's a similar thing where, you know, it sets the tone for the battle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I've always wondered that when it comes to especially martial arts, you know, there's like a sensitivity beforehand before going to something quite destructive. Yeah. And it's like this respect that both people bring. Yeah. And I wonder if there's like, I don't know, I always see like two people fighting and then is there like these entities behind each person?
Well, now that I understand the spirit world and I understand spiritual darkness and spiritual light, most definitely, most likely, yeah, for sure.
How do you navigate those waters now as a Bible believing born again Christian?
Yeah, I mean, definitely certain things I don't partake in at all any longer. Just things that are more deeply rooted in Buddhist culture. Which you just pick up automatically when you're involved in the sport. Everything is rooted in Buddhism. Everything's like three, you know. So when you come up and you're gonna just enter the ring, you seal it 3 times, you know, and there's a lot of sort of superstition involved, and you do it because you are so immersed in the sport.
Are you allowed to not do that?
Yes. I mean, it's probably looked at as disrespectful now. Yeah. So just things like that, you know, but definitely I've had to take a step back and analyze a lot of those things. The way that I looked at it was like the negotiables and the non-negotiables about what you can still partake in to show respect to the sport and just what I'm not willing to sort of compromise on.
I saw a football player in America just recently. I can't remember his name. If I can find it, I'll put it on the screen right now for our listeners. But he had a hat, and the hat was, I think it was an A for their team or an F or something like that. But it was all rainbow for the LGBTQ, right? And this man was a Bible-believing, born-again Christian. And what he wrote on his hat so that people could see it, because being a sport coach, they would zoom in on his face and things like that. He would wear the hat, but he wrote on it, I think it was Genesis 16 to 23. And those verses, around about those verses, are about God saying the covenant of the rainbow.
For sure.
Like, how cool is that? Like, because I think it was a mandatory, you have to wear this now. So he just like
took a spin on it.
Well, just spun it back.
Yeah, right.
Spun it back to what the rainbow was.
Absolutely.
It's always been a covenant
Always.
that God made for mankind.
Yep.
So it was just it was cool.
Very
So
cool.
have you kind of, because I noticed you're wearing a cross and you've got these tattoos and things like that they're all Christian tattoos. Have you? I don't know. There's the thing that you wear around. Is it your head?
Yeah, the Mongkong. Yeah.
I don't know if that's like a Buddhist thing or is it a Muay Thai thing, or I'm really green when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's more just rooted in Thai culture.
Okay.
You know?
So that's okay.
But yeah, so like the prajia, it's like the little armbands, and the Mongkong more comes from their old warrior gear, you know what I mean? When they were fighting Mui Baran and way before that back in the day.
Yeah.
So that's not really like necessarily rooted in a different faith.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, just all those you have to reassess, you know, now for me.
Well, you'd have to figure it out.
Yeah.
What's actually culture and what's demonic?
And as you know, with Thailand, it's interesting because the culture and the faith are all intertwined.
Yeah, if I am Thai, I am Buddhist, which is how most Thai people would describe themselves.
And Muay Thai is so deeply rooted in Buddhism. You take your Mongkong to the monks to get it blessed before you fight.
True. Yeah.
So I used to do all that. And I used to take my fighters to do that and everything as well.
Wow.
But
how have your fighters adapted or reacted to your change of spirit?
Yeah, well, now, I mean, I really don't really enjoy going to the fights. I don't really go any longer. The Lord's changed my heart so much.
Yeah.
I just don't really enjoy the environment any longer, which is fascinating because that was home for me.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you don't really fight anymore?
No way. And I don't really even enjoy to go.
Yeah. So you just
I can't tell you the last time I've been.
You just train then?
Yeah. And I like to coach people a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I still love to train and I still love to help people. But yeah, there's been a big shift in my heart, you know, and I just don't gravitate towards any of my old desires.
I love how Christianity can do that. Rewires you, rewrites you.
Yeah. When I first got saved, I took a guy to fight down in Chiang Mai, and I just remember it was like an out-of-body experience, and I really just did not enjoy any of it, and I just felt like I was seeing myself from the outside. And after that, like I've been a couple times and had a couple guys fight for me, but I just really, it's not like I don't, you know, it's not like I dislike the sport, but just for me, that environment is just not where I find myself feeling comfortable any longer. I don't have a desire to see people hurt each other.
I wonder what Nathan thinks. Nathan Carnage.
I mean, and I don't think that my stance is the right or wrong. That's just,
you're following your conviction.
Yep.
And everyone's got different convictions.
For sure.
But it makes me wonder if there's the Bible says that the flesh and the spirit are at enmity with one another.
Absolutely.
And I remember one of my friends, she got saved and I said to her, she was like real into new age stuff. Mm-hmm. And I said to her, now that you're saved, your spirit is become alive, has resurrection power, and there's almost a target is going to be placed on it. Just be aware of that the demonic world don't like this.
No way.
And all of a sudden, you will be viewed as a threat in the spirit. So if something comes up and people come to react to you weirdly, it's this. And she's like, I'll be fine, Joel. I don't know what you're talking about. And then ended up a week later, she messages me and goes, man, my mom's not talking to me. My sister's just gone crazy at me, all this sort of stuff.
Jesus said it.
Yeah. It's really, really crazy.
Yeah.
What's that beep? Must be something out there.
Hope it doesn't get picked up.
No.
Cool.
I don't think it will. I'll cut it out. This quick little conversation. Yeah, man. Let's move towards your actual moment where everything changed. How did that happen?
Cool. Well, just going back, like there was one time in my life where I actually believed and gave somewhat of my heart to Jesus. And it's common. This was when I was in jail.
All right.
So I gave.
What were you doing in jail?
So I was facing like a pretty decent 3 to 5 year felony charge.
Wow.
In Texas. And when I was in jail, I started to go with the Christian circle, you know? And I would pray with everybody, and I was going to church there. And then what happened was, which is heartbreaking looking back, was the guy who was running it all and was the leader of it all. When I went to the toilet in the middle of the night, one night to pee, he was there, getting sexual acts from another man. And I remember specifically that I was like, yeah, this Christian stuff's just hypocrisy. And I turned my back on the Lord as soon as I got out. So I did actually, looking back, I do have to mention that there was one period of time, which I think is quite common, right? We, in our most desperate moments, we call out to God, right? Mm. And that was that first time ever I called out to the Christian God.
Wow.
And I was serious. I mean, I was committed, but just like anybody, as soon as I got out, I just went right back to the world.
It's interesting how the acts of not God,
I know,
but somebody else can make you turn away from God.
That's why I wanted to mention that, just because you hear about people who get like church hurt and things like this, they turn their back on the Lord.
Yeah.
So that's sad that I let another man's actions, make me walk away. But obviously it was like the parable of the seed was just, fell on rocky soil, man.
Well, it's like,
I didn't have any chance to really get any roots.
It's a tricky thought, that one, and it's kind of when you break it down, it's a little bit ridiculous that becomes, and I can understand the reaction to that, to not wanting to follow Christ because you see somebody being a hypocrite in Christ. It's like reading the book How to Make Friends and Influence People, and your friends read that book, How to Make Friends and Influence People, and then he becomes just a really nasty person and doesn't do anything in the book, but he says, "Oh, I've read it," and then you just think, well, the book must suck then. It has nothing to do with the book. It's that guy's got choices, but now the author is like, that's not what I was teaching him, it has nothing to do with him. It's like,
and it's heartbreaking, and how that happens for so many people.
Yeah.
So that was the only time where I actually would have said that I was like committed to being a Christian, was a very short, brief period in my early 20s.
Yeah. Man, interesting.
Yeah.
So how did you go from there to kind of having this completely different experience? Or did you want to walk through a few stories before then, or?
Well, I mean, from there was not long after was when I went to Australia. And then in Australia, I definitely just kind of got more into like self-help, a lot of audio books with like, motivational speakers, and a lot of that route, the fitness route, the self-help route.
Which is all good.
Yeah.
Like it's all good stuff, but none of it's going to affect you eternally.
Right. And I mean, you always need the next fix, don't you? It's like you always need the next book. You always need the next, new fad. Now it's breath work. Now it's ice bathing. Now it's journaling. Now it's, So I went down that route a lot. But then coming back and forth to Thailand, I was always I think it's very easy to get swept off your feet with the exoticness of the Eastern mysticism, when you grow up in the West.
Yeah.
So I'd say that I started to gravitate more towards learning from that.
Oh, wow. Okay. And that, yeah, obviously that would have had a huge draw when you come here you see the Thai people and they're always so happy and they're always so loving and
Yeah.
they seem to, sabai sort of
Yeah.
mindset.
Yeah.
You're going, well, they must know something. That's
Absolutely.
what drew you in?
For sure. I think all of that and just those momentary glimpses of the peace that I had been searching for so long. There's moments of peace, of course, like when you're at a beautiful temple and it's outside and, you're praying, you feel like there's momentarily some feeling of peace, but it was always short-lived,
So what changed?
I think for me, I started to get more and more and more and more into the path of, like Taoism and Stoicism and mixing a lot of things. And this is what we were speaking about earlier. Yeah, was my morning routine was like full, I had to wake up at 4 a.m. to be done by 6:30 for this long, drawn out morning routine, Jeez. It's torturous. Hey,
what did you do?
It's just like, a lot of meditation and journaling and fitness and just like things of all that nature. You know what I mean? It was a long drawn out routine of meditating, journaling, fitness, and just Stoicism, listening to a lot of Stoicism and reading and just all of that.
It's interesting when you say stuff like that because I wouldn't necessarily categorize that as wrong, but it could fall into almost like an idolatry
Fully.
mindset.
It was.
Yeah, wow.
In hindsight now, of course, all that was my idol.
Yeah.
And then,
But it's healthy if it's not your idol, if you're not image obsessed and health obsessed and that's your God, if that's your worship is basically worshiping the image of yourself, making sure that you are merging into this perfectly healthy person at all costs, that becomes a major idol.
Yeah.
If that's the reason and it's all for you, it's very self-serving and very but it's not bad either in the sense of like it's good to be healthy.
Yeah.
And it's good to meditate, especially on the word of God.
Yeah.
It is good to calm yourself and to relax and it's good to get up early in the morning. The Bible literally says those
Fully.
who love sleep will be they will be owners of poverty or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's in Proverbs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the Proverbs.
Yeah. So
I can see that so many of these things were necessary because it's the Lord's been orchestrating all of it and it's made me useful in his hands now.
yeah.
I'm like the disciplines that I learned, and a lot of these things are applicable now for the Lord. So I don't see any of it as in vain now.
No.
But while I was going through it, it was a lot of self-serving, a lot of escaping. Like you said, exercise addiction is real. I mean, I was doing ultra marathons on my own accord, not even joining races. Just I'm going to go run 70 Ks in the jungle. And when I was living in Krabi, just a madman. Yeah. I mean, but just because didn't realize that I was fully demonically possessed and tortured still. And so I was constantly escaping. And throughout all of these times, I was smoking weed from the moment the sun came up to the moment the sun came down.
Was that the reason you were doing all that stuff? Was to escape almost that inner question?
I think 100% now.
You said it before with reading the self-help books. It was, what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
Yeah.
And I suppose physically it would be, all right, I've got a six-pack now. What's the next thing? I've got to run an ultra marathon. All right, that's not for 6 months. Well, I better do one now so that I know I can do it in 6 months' time.
Exactly. I think it's just that extreme personality type that I have, where, it's like that addictive personality where you just extreme about everything that you take on board.
You are going to be a serious threat, and you are, with that type of personality, it it was operating in darkness before, but now that you're a born again Christian, that's a scary Christian for Satan.
I genuinely think the Lord's calling up more of us too.
Yeah.
Because I think he's calling people from all different types of extreme backgrounds. You see so much now. You see interesting testimonies from people who come, from far out backgrounds.
100%.
I can, so many times it's been shown to me that the Lord was orchestrating all of it. I mean, as an example, all the challenges that I faced give me a relatability to a lot of the people that now I'm coming into union with in Pi, as an example.
Yeah.
And I mean, anything that's popular here is like I've been there, done that so long ago. So it's when I was going through it, I felt like I was being punished, but you can see that the Lord called me right at the right time.
Yeah.
And all that was necessary, especially for where I am, where he's using me right now.
Well, let's try and get to that moment of change.
Yeah, sorry.
Because I know we're going hopefully nobody's following this timeline here because we're forwards and backwards. But you've got such a wild moment that happened. Not everyone gets a moment like that. And it's like a road to Damascus moment.
It really was.
Can you walk us through that and give us what was going on around that time that brought you to a place of that much desperation?
Okay.
And I'll just point out one thing that I've read in the Screwtape Letters, that demons don't like us to get to rock bottom, because when you're at rock bottom, you fall to your knees and you cry out. And that's when God meets you. He wants you to keep you just above there, so you're miserable, but not right at the bottom.
Right.
So, yeah, what was going on?
Yeah. This is like that interesting thing too, because from the outside, of course, we're so good at wearing masks that my life looked great.
Yeah.
I'm happily married. I've got 2 kids. I've got a business. I'm inspiring so many people. I've got all these Instagram followers. I'm a positive guy,
But were you just void inside?
Inside, I was always just really hurting. And I think as I got more close to the pinnacle of where I felt like I was just capping off on all of this self-development and that spiritual walk, I can specifically remember there was one morning, sitting there cross-legged, candle was burning, meditating. And I just thought to myself, if this is all there is, and if this is all it's going to be, this sucks. And not that long after, I got pretty disenfranchised with just everything I had been doing in that capacity. And burn season in the north of Thailand is real bad, so we always try to go down south. And this was just 2 years ago in April. We went down to Koh Lanta. And when I was down there, I was doing my morning routines. And out of nowhere, I just got hit with this call to repentance. But I didn't even know what repentance was. Didn't even know what I was really doing at that time. But on top of the journaling and the meditation and all that, I just started bawling, so just uncontrollable sobbing every morning for 3 weeks, trying not to wake my family up in the other room. I'm out there and I'm just starting to take note, go all the way back, to everything I've been through. And so in that process, I started praying as well, praying to the Lord. But again, it was a funny thing because it was I was more praying to a Buddhist statue, praying to the Lord, and not really believing in anything, which is just makes me laugh now. That's how lost I was. The terminology that I addressed God with was still always Lord. I was never praying to Buddha my whole life. And
thanks to your mom, I suppose.
Yeah, those roots must have just always been there. And, but sitting in front of a statue, but really not committed to any of it. And so when we came back to Pi, It wasn't that much longer after. There was a lot of kairos moments in between then. A lot of kairos moments that were happening.
What do you mean by that, a kairos moment?
Just those funny little things where, you looking back, that was the Lord. It's like people in the world call it a coincidence or things like that, Like I never had a Christian hip hop song pop up in my YouTube feed ever. And I can remember clearly, I was like, what is it? What? And just I had to click it. I was like so scrolling over it and I went back and I clicked it and it just like resonated with me. And then all of a sudden I started like researching all this Christian hip hop music in that couple weeks as well. When I'm like been into die-hard secular rap music since I've been 10 years old. And just things like that, which I didn't even realize what was happening. You know what I mean? And so, but in this time, I was never calling out to the Lord, as in, show me who you are. Most high, highest power, if you're there, show me yourself. I just had a realization that I've got a really foul heart and that all this corruption that comes out of my mouth comes from just a wicked mind and a dirty heart. I had that revelation on my own and I thought that I was discovering something new. Then you read in the word that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. I was like, wow, you're onto something with that one, bro. So I went through this stage of like going through all this repentance, praying, kairos moments. We come back to Pi. And one night I go to sleep. And in the middle of the night, I wake up and I get put in this trance. And it's this like out-of-body trance where I'm fully alert. I'm not sleeping, but I can't move. I'm paralyzed. And Jesus fully reveals himself to me, full body form. And he speaks to me. And it's like because he operates outside of time and space, it felt like it was in eternity. And the words echoed like through the echo chambers of the universe. And they were like thunder, but it was just 3 words. But those 3 words felt like it took, all night long. And the 3 words were, if so, when? And I knew it was Jesus. And he didn't have to tell me it was Jesus, but I knew it was Jesus. And I woke up in the morning from it. And first thing I thought when I got up was, this sucks. Now I have to be a Christian.
What was it that you were so gutted about the idea of that statement of this sucks? Like, what was it? Was it the change? Like the acknowledgement of I can't be the king of my life anymore? Like, what was it?
I think it was all of it. I think it was just the fact that I thought Christians were lame. Like I was just like, oh man, this sucks. Now I have to be one of them.
Wow.
Now I have to wear the hat, of a Christian.
Reluctant convert.
Yeah. And I literally, like within 20 minutes, my mom was out of town, but I was like opening up all of her drawers looking for a Bible.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
There was no sort of needing to process the experience.
Yeah.
It was Jesus called me. Yeah. And the if so when, even though it was free will, which is beautiful to me, the way he is still if so when. I could have rejected his call.
Yeah.
But it was such an authoritative calling. I was frightened when he, I remember while I was in the trance, it was powerful.
Wow.
And I was frightened by it. It was a free will call, but it was also a command. So I immediately woke up a Christian.
Wow. I mean, and it, very much is a Saul to Paul moment. It's a road to Damascus story. And even in that story, I'm pretty sure Paul was unable to move.
3 days, it said.
During the moment. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, in the moment. Yeah.
In the moment
he was
when
frozen
Jesus
up.
appeared,
yeah.
He said he fell down as if he was dead.
Yeah. That's how.
Yeah. And you said you were paralyzed.
Yeah.
In this trance.
Yeah.
Man, that is.
And it was full body.
Yeah.
Full body. It wasn't just his face. It was the full body revelation.
Do you remember what, like this? That's a wild thing that you're testifying to, which is incredible. Do you remember what Jesus like was wearing or anything like that?
Yeah, it was. Now, I mean, I had no idea about like the Shroud of Turin and things like that, but that's highly how he looked. It was a robe and a thick beard,
like a white robe.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a thick beard, and
did he have
long hair?
Was he kind of described or looked similar to what he is in Revelation? Because he talked when the revelation of John is happening, he's describing Jesus with eyes of fire. And you did touch on it a little bit. You said it was like thunderous voice. And the apostle, John, in the revelation of John, he says it was like many waters, and you've heard a lot of waters, like a waterfall, does sound like the rumbling of thunder. And you were saying it was like a thunderous sound, like that's a similar sound.
Yeah.
I wonder if you were seeing, a similar Jesus to what John was seeing.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had the hair white as wool. It was a white beard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A white beard.
Yeah, definitely like a silvery gray white beard,
Wow.
So it was more like what it looks like when you look at the image of the Shroud of Turin. That style. That's the easiest way I can describe it.
That's a fascinating shroud.
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of research on that, not a lot, but the way that they were to make that, they've roughly theorized how it was made. And they're saying the only way that they scientifically would be able to recreate something like that would be a light source that was, I think it was like 12 times brighter than the sun. Would have to shine through this thing to make that imprint.
Amazing,
on
right?
that cloth. And it's like, you know what I mean? When
Oh,
you
yeah.
start to hear that as a Christian and you're like,
Yeah. Well, that's why they say, right, that you won't need a sun in the New Jerusalem, right?
And just when the Bible says Jesus, like there's moments when he's on the Mount of Transfiguration, and it says he was glowing. He was shining.
Yeah.
And you wonder, like, this inner glow, this inner light that comes out of Jesus. It's literally photographed his face onto a cloth.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I mean, take this all from me, because I don't have any background to know any of this. I'm discovering all this now as I go. I'm reading the word and it says the voice of God echoes like thunder. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was it. Because like, I try to piece it together.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's
fascinating
for me. You know what I mean?
It would confirm what you saw,
exactly.
what you heard. Yeah.
But that's what's beautiful about a supernatural encounter with Jesus is nobody could ever take that from me. Nobody. There's no theologian who could out-convince me that he's not real.
Well, that's why testimonies are so powerful. And I tell people this all the time, you were saying the gospel, right? Nobody had ever told you the gospel. We tell people all the time, there's 5 gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and yours.
I like that.
And your testimony might be the only gospel somebody ever hears. This is who Jesus is. And like, it's crazy that we have this ability to testify to the planet. That's why we do this podcast and get it. Like, you live in basically one of the smallest little Thai villages that I've ever been in.
Yeah.
This great little place.
Yeah.
But that story needs to get out there. That's why we drove here. That's why we drove 3 hours to
I
get
appreciate
here.
you. I'm so glad we got to do this too,
it's
bro.
important.
Yeah.
It's so important. This is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
So what was life like immediately after that? So because you've got a Thai wife and kids. How was their reaction to all of this change, in Gabriel's life?
Yeah. I remember feeling a lot of embarrassment having to tell everybody.
Interesting. Why do you think you felt that?
I don't know. Just the shame of being a Christian. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really nervous to tell my sisters.
It's the
really
fear.
Nervous to tell my friends.
It's the flesh and the spirit are enmity. That's what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
This nervousness is in your flesh because it is fighting with what's in your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's actually normal to feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my wife has been so supportive of me.
Wow.
And, she's on her way, but she's still taking a little bit of time. But bless her heart, she's not going to have just like a false conversion, which is
Yeah.
amazing. She actually has a pretty healthy fear of the Lord. And she went to a Christian school growing up in Lampang. So she loves God, but she just still has a lot of those strongholds up from the Thai culture. But the Lord's doing a wonder in her heart. Yeah. So, but yeah, my family have been supportive, of course, and my mom, 30 years of prayers answered.
Yeah. She would have been, what was her reaction to all this? Must have been
Hallelujah.
like I can only imagine that would have been.
She was away when it happened. So as soon as she came back and she saw the changes that had already happened in me, and I knew she knew it was a genuine, but she had a real mind-blowing encounter with Jesus as well. So she never doubted me from the moment I told her.
Wow.
So she was really, 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 really excited, as you can imagine, because I put my mom through a lot of hell.
Yeah. Only for you to come out smelling like heaven.
Amazing. And now she's in the crowd with, now I'm preaching to her, which is sometimes I still have to pinch myself.
That's a mother's, dream.
Yeah.
Right there. That's incredible.
Yeah, I haven't had too much negative flack from anybody. I'm sure a bunch of people like that I grew up with and all that think I've lost my mind, but
you've actually found it.
Yeah, but nobody's actually like attacking me,
I love your shirt there.
Thanks,
which
bro.
is I don't think the camera can actually see it. But it's it looks like a wash.
Yeah. Jesus washes away sin. Yeah.
It's a detergent.
Yeah, exactly.
For clothes. Brilliant. So now that this was 2 years ago now, and the Lord's been doing incredible things.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched you. Like I came to Thailand 1 year ago, so you were fresh, really, first 12 months in. You've had a huge focus on discipleship. Since that moment. And I know Pastor John Mack, huge shout out to you, John.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Pops.
Yeah. He's been, he took you in, discipled you, and been really consistent in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that been one of the most important things as a new Christian?
Absolutely. I mean, I was just really blessed to like fall under tutelage from Pastor Sean and at Victory and John, early. I was Googling a church. So I encountered Jesus. Next weekend, I went down to Chiang Mai. I was Googling a church. First one that popped up was Victory. And I saw Sean and I was like, he looks cool. I'll go there. I think that would have been like right in the beginning of June. And then they said they're doing their baptisms on, sorry for that. So they said they were doing their baptisms on June 23rd. And my first time at church, second time at church, I forget. But of course, there was no question in my mind. I was all in. So I just like put my hand up like, all right, let's get baptized. And when I got baptized, Pastor Sean baptized me. And when I got out of the water, John was the one who prayed for me.
Wow.
And I had never been prayed for in my whole entire life. And he's a fiery little Filipino dude. And it was like mind-blowing for me. It's like, whoa, what was that? I went away from that really imprinted by like that, the experience. And I kept thinking to myself, I got to source that guy. I got to find him. And I remember I walked up onto him at Victory. He told this story, quite funny, when we were in the Philippines together. He said he was quite scared. Like I walked on him quite aggressive. I was just like, yo, bro, you know what I mean? And he was like, what did I do? I was just like, will you disciple me? So early I had an understanding that was important.
Do you think you got that understanding from being trained in martial arts? Like clearly there's this mentor,
I think so.
Student mentality
I think so.
it's so needed.
Yeah. I think it was just a natural thing for me to fall into. Somebody told me real early in the walk that it's really dangerous when someone doesn't have someone to be accountable to in this Christian life. And so I knew I really wanted to be obedient to that. And so I approached him. He said no. He said, I've got to, like, pretty much he was like, I got to think about it, but I pretty much have a heart for the ties.
Wow.
When he found out and he thought about it, and when he found out that I was married to a Thai, that sort of helped bring him to a yes. But initially, I think, he wasn't really wanting to take on foreigners. He's here doing missionary work for the Thais. Yep. His heart is for the Thais. And
I do slightly disagree with that mindset, personally. I think if somebody is willing to say, please disciple me, and they're needing it, it should be an immediate yes. If you're going to be able to bring someone into a closer alignment to Christ, like obviously you don't want to be wasting your time. You don't want somebody to say, hey, disciple me, and they're really only half in,
Yeah.
Recognizing they're all in.
Right.
It should be a reciprocal all in to discipling them.
Right.
Personally, that's where I stand.
I see what you mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I think I just caught him off guard because he just never really expected that.
Yeah.
And he had done so much discipling in the Philippines, but I think since he had moved to Thailand, he hadn't really taken on discipleship. But which was interesting though, because he said that the Lord had been putting on his heart for quite a little while now before I came to him.
Yeah.
That he needs to start discipling again.
Oh,
so fantastic. I came to him and he was just like, oh man, the Lord's already been speaking to me.
Awesome.
I guess you're the one.
Yeah. And that's it. The Lord, I think sometimes we can have like we think what the Lord's saying, and then it's really, it's slightly misinterpreted. And then you coming across, it could just be God saying you're going to be discipling people in Thailand, not you're going to be discipling Thai people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like me being called to Thailand.
Right.
Why would I be called to Thailand where hardly anyone speaks English? I have an English podcast. 99% of people here are Buddhist. My podcast requires believers. It kind of makes no sense, really.
Fully.
But God knew.
See.
We just went for it and obeyed. Got here and realized the most amount of missionaries in Southeast Asia live in Chiang Mai.
Wow.
And those missionaries need their stories, their testimonies to be told around the world.
Right.
And that was it. So I had to take I think I know what God's saying to me, and just go with the obedience of what God said. You just said to go.
Yeah.
And kind of like what God said to you,
Yeah.
So it be when, or
if so, when?
If so, when? Still a choice.
Yeah.
But you know what God said. You know, and that's important that you went now. Like you answered that question for yourself in your heart.
Yeah.
If so, when?
Yeah.
If so, when? Now that I know that Christ is Lord and King.
Mm-hmm. Now.
So good.
Yeah. Yeah. So from John. Sean and John invited me into leadership school. And from leadership school, in that time, I started a men's group Bible study here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what's the fruit of that been like? You've had quite a bit of interest.
Yeah, it's going great, man. A bunch of boys have gotten baptized.
Fantastic. I love
amazing.
That. I watch your stuff online.
Yeah.
And was that last week?
Yeah, a couple like more that? Even, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, last weekend.
So good. God's doing amazing stuff, man.
Yeah.
And I think you are at the beginning. You don't even know where God's going to take this.
I agree.
It's just that willingness.
Yeah.
To go, Lord, you want me to go? You want me to do this? If so, when?
Yeah, I agree, man. it is just the as you know, the word says that he uses the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. So I mean, he just is like, if this dude's willing.
Yeah, I love that. There's no greater insult.
So
he's using me then.
Yeah, I mean,
I must be a fool.
Of course, I haven't felt qualified for any of this.
Yeah, we are. It's the funniest thing. Like, I love how the Bible describes us as sheep.
Yeah.
I'm from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Sheep are
they're the dumbest animal in the world, right? They say pretty much.
They're so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how God looks at us.
Absolutely.
We absolutely need a shepherd. We absolutely need somebody to disciple us. We absolutely need to be able to hear the Lord's voice clearly and to be able to interpret that correctly with that discipleship from other people.
Yeah.
Somebody told me at a conference last year, they were talking about the book of Philippians, not Philippines, the book of Philippians. And in that book, there's the Apostle Paul and there's his disciple Timothy. And at the end, these guys were telling me at this conference, if you don't have a Paul in your life, someone that you are being discipled from, you need to get one and you need to find someone. You need to search through your friends list online. You need to have a really good think and pray who can properly disciple you. And if you don't have a Timothy, someone you are discipling, you need to find a Timothy.
Yeah.
And I love how immediately, like we've been 2 years since you've been a Christian, you immediately found a Paul. You said, John, disciple me. And he did. He started discipling you amazingly. Slightly reluctantly, but he got around to it, which is, I think that's a good testament to Pastor John praying into it and not like doing like a hard no or anything like that. Like he prayed into it and then he listened and he obeyed. He felt, yes, this is who I should be doing.
For sure.
That's a huge thing that we can learn from.
Yeah, I agree.
As Christian.
I agree.
And not only that, you brought that same mindset back to Pi and you're discipling all these young men.
Yeah.
It's, you're not going to know how far this ripple effect is going to happen.
It's biblical too, right? It's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
that's the last thing Jesus said.
Yeah.
Go into all the world and make disciples.
Exactly.
He didn't say go into all the world and plant churches. No. Go into all the world and start podcasts.
Right.
He didn't say that. He said go into all the world and make disciples.
Yeah.
Find a Timothy, disciple them.
Exactly.
And I don't know exactly how many Christians there are, but I heard this stat. You got the 3,000 people that were saved on the day of Pentecost in the book of Acts, right? If 3,000 people were saved every single day in China and China stopped populating, it would take 700 years for all of China to be saved. If each Christian on the planet just discipled one person and that person discipled one person and they just did it over a year, and each year that person did it, 7 years. 7 years it would take, and then the whole world would be Christians.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So take it, you don't have to convert and disciple everyone. You just have to find your one Timothy. Put your arm around them and use wisdom, pray with them, keep them accountable, read the word with them, disciple them. And I love how you're doing that. So,
it's been a real blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're doing a small home church too. So the Lord is moving in Pi.
Amen.
The Lord is moving. I mean, it's slow. It's rough, dry soil in Pi. There's a lot going on here. But he's moving.
Yeah.
The Bible study was the first thing that started to definitely show fruit.
Awesome.
And now I can really definitely testify that, that also the Sunday gatherings moving too.
Yeah. Man, so good. I think we'll finish here.
Cool.
But I would love to ask you, is there something that our audience can do for you? Do you need prayer for what you're doing here in Pi? Are you fundraising for what you're doing here? Is there maybe a house church birthing out of this place that our listeners can get behind?
Cool.
And is there Are you looking for people to volunteer or to come working with you and what you're doing here? Because it is pretty new still what you're doing.
Yeah.
But there are people willing to connect and to partner and to pray with people all around the world.
Yeah. I mean, prayer would be very much appreciated. Yeah.
Awesome.
We need to all definitely come together and pray for the whole north of Thailand, you know? So I definitely would openly receive prayer. And if possible, any form of help would be huge, just because it's such a grassroots, organic, from the ground up movement right now. And we don't have anything. So like we're going to be even needing more chairs, hopefully, Lord. Yeah. Need a TV, you know? These sort of just basics would be helpful. We're looking for a space to try to get out of the house, a small space. So anybody who had that capability to sew into what we were doing would be huge. But of course, you know, no pressure. But if anybody wants to support what's going on in Pi and they feel led,
call,
you know, that would be huge.
Then just do it.
It would be huge.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
we've got 2 girls that have just, like a real blessing, that have just come and started to do worship with us from Myanmar. And John bought me a cajon and just sent it up. So it's real, just starting from the ground up, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, up until a couple of weeks ago, I was putting a Bluetooth speaker on and handing out lyrics that I had printed on paper. So it's real grassroots right now, man.
That's so cool. Just be willing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I know it pleases the Lord, and that's all that matters to me. So
will you be able to give us a email or something that if people are feeling that prompting, they can just go into the description, look up the email, copy and paste, and get in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be a blessing. It'd be a real blessing. Anything.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, Gabe, you are doing exactly what your name means, messenger of God.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. Like God, think of this. You've only been a Christian for 2 years. Man, give it 20. What's going to happen then? I'm very excited to find out.
I'm excited too, man. Genuinely. The Lord keeps telling me there's more and more to come.
Yeah.
So I'm just being faithful, yeah?
So good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Jesus Magnet. Please support Gabe, pray for him, and connect with him if you're wanting to touch base, especially here in northern Thailand. Bless you guys.